Welcome everyone to this Let's Play of Elite Dangerous. I'm Cmdr Kornelius Kerman and I am trading. So welcome to Bradfield Orbital, which is my current place of residence, and I'm spending most of my time bulletin board hunting. I find that this is a more prosperous way of operating than trying to do raw trading. I tend to find this gives me a bit more targeted profits rather than hunting around and scraping around for bits of profit here and there. At the moment I'm at an industrial site and there's a refinery system nearby, and that enables me to make a fairly good profit on every run. So let's have a look what we've got. Indium and titanium, so let's try those two. So I need 6 titanium and I think it was 1 indium. So let's pop over to the neighbouring system, which if we go down the list of systems that are nearby, it is this one, G180-18. So we'll lock it in before we go back to launch. And let's go make some money. Now, I've been playing this for a while. It's beta 2.04, as you can see from the bottom left, and it's pretty good. The worst issue I have, which you can probably see in front of you there, is intermittent problems with performance. I'm not quite sure what that's caused by. I'm trying different resolutions, different window sizes, and the only thing I've really been able to narrow it down to is when you're around other players. And I've noticed there are a few items on the forums to that effect, that graphics resolution doesn't make a great deal of difference. The performance of your PC doesn't make that great a difference if you've got a fairly modern PC, that is. It just happens to be whether you are near any other players, and it doesn't even have to be graphically near them, so I can't actually physically see any other players. But if you're in any location where other players are congregated, I just get rough response, as you can see. But the game's pretty well playable otherwise, so let's head on over to our destination and make some moolah, as they tend to refer to it in this game. Boost away from the station, whip up our landing gear.
Detecting hostile scan.
There we go, G180-18. Now we're still mass locked by the station behind us. There we go, we are now ready to enter jump drive. Takes a few seconds to charge up and then we will be into hyperspace and on our way.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
Now the hyperspace tunnel, I'm not particularly excited by it, but then since nobody particularly knows what a hyperspace tunnel ought to look like, I guess this is as good as any. A little bit reminiscent of Doctor Who. And it's dumped us in our target system near the star, near the nav beacon next to the star. So let's go and select the map and find Murray Port, our refinery port. Doesn't look much like a refinery, but you'll see when we get there. Turn ourselves around. There we go. 1.5, well, 1,500 light seconds. That's actually quite a long way for the sorts of super cruise journeys that I've been doing for trading. Like I say, I've tried to do basic commodity trading, and I haven't really been able to make that much money out of it. Primarily because although you get some nice pretty maps that show you the flow of goods, I've often found that you buy a particular set of goods at one station, supposedly going to another on the commodities map, but you get there and there's no demand and you can't sell them. Now maybe that's just a feature of the beta and they haven't quite finished it yet, or it's a case of the direction in which goods are flowing from player interactions, for example through the bulletin board, and not actually what's being demanded by the NPCs themselves through normal NPC gameplay. I have not worked that out yet, so the only reliable form of trading that I've found that actually makes a good amount of moolah is the bulletin board style trading, where you can guarantee that your destination will require the goods that you've gone to collect, and you can often make quite a lot. The bulletin board titles for each of those contracts often gives away what it's after as well, so you can quite quickly see, without even looking at the contracts, the sorts of things you're going to be asked to purchase. And if you've got, like I have here, a little run between Ovid and G180-18, you can accumulate quite a bit of funds just by doing this, you know, a handful of times. You make about 10k each run, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good for a trade run. I mean, basic trade runs in your starter ship can be making you just a few hundred credits, so 10,000 a go in my hauler that I have here. I've upgraded to a hauler and I've upgraded its cargo store, so I can take a maximum of 16 units, 16 tons of cargo, but even the 1 or up to 4 units of cargo on these bulletin board runs could net you nigh on 10 grand, so that's always good. So we're coming up on Murray Port now, getting into the blue zone, and we will then be able to drop out of hyperspeed, or super cruise as it's called here. Transition to normal space needs a bit of work, but we are beta, so we'll let them off. Rather grey looking Jupiter in the background there. Now, a bit like the hyperspace flight, I'm not actually sure what goes on during that transition. I assume it's connecting to a node in the server farm, and that might be a little bit of a problemette for performance at the moment whilst we're in beta, because it does seem to take a variable amount of time and does occasionally hang. So that's probably the only inconvenience I've really found in the beta. It's otherwise been really good. I'm really quite impressed with the quality of the program. Now, I think this is these are the 3 docking bays we've got here, and I think this must be number 3 lit up on the end. So let's get our gear down. Let's slow down a little and just strafe back and forth until we're all lined up. Now, not bad at docking, so he says. So let's hope I don't embarrass myself. Heading for the back of the bay. Just slow down a little. Hopefully we should get the docking indicator. There we go, docking indicator. Crawl forward a little. Here we go, and drop down. It's usually quite forgiving if you don't hit it too hard. There we go, bit of a slam, but didn't embarrass myself too much. Let's get into the hangar. Don't want to loiter on the pad and get shot. And see about purchasing our goods. So let's just double check what we needed for the mission. We needed 1 indium and 6 titanium. So, starport services. Let's refuel. Commodities market. 1 indium. And I think it was 6 titanium. Now on this run, if you over collect or you're not sure what to buy, you can usually make good money on just about any of these industrial goods, but my range isn't that great, so I'm not going to fill up my hold. Let's go and just lock in Ovid. Whoops, I'm always doing that. Forgetting to actually lock it. Let's launch away and get back to Ovid and make ourselves some cash. And up we go.
Released. Engines engaged.
Up with the gear, I'm always forgetting that. And thrust away from the station. The sooner you're away from the station and get unmass locked, like we are now, the quicker we can get into supercruise, and in this case hyperspace.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Now I don't think the time you spend in the tunnel has anything to do with the actual distance of travel. So if you end up taking a long time in the tunnel, whoa! Let's bank away and lock in Bradfield Orbital. Where are we? Down here. Here we go. Yeah, so that's the only place I've really found any problems, which is going in and out of hyperspace. It seems to hang. I suspect the beta's having a hard time getting hold of a server in order to connect you to your destination, or to leave your source for that matter. The graphic performance when you are around stations, that can be a bit choppy, but gameplay wise it all seems to work. All the functions seem to be there. There are no blanks or gaps where there's supposed to be functionality, so that's all good. Here we are, falling into the gravity well. We are going to disappear past our target, and the only way I've found out of reducing that is to duck underneath and rotate back. 11 light seconds away. We did rather overshoot that. It's quite common. I do it all the time. Sometimes you can slow down all you like, and again you might find the server hasn't quite picked up your actions and you still overshoot. So it's not perfect, but it is a beta, and they're doing pretty well otherwise, methinks. So, missions. We have our titanium, which we can see on panel 4, not panel 3. Titanium and indium. 7 of 16. I've got a total of 16 cargo. There's some good contracts for 15 units that I've seen, so that was my primary reason for upgrading to a hauler. But after making all this money, I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to spend it on. Now, I'm using a mouse and keyboard for control, and that's not especially good for combat. So I'm thinking deep space exploration might be my next port of call, or not so deep, unidentified signal source investigation, which might involve a little bit of combat. So there's a bit of a mix there, but one of those two, I think. One of those two. Not sure the hauler's best for deep space exploration, but for the unidentified object sources, signal sources, collecting cargo from those could be profitable. We'll have to see. So here we are, back at Bradfield Orbital, 7 kilometres away. Let's just boost in. And now we're within 7 kilometres. Let us get docking permission.
Request granted.
Pad 36. So pad 36. Let's just strafe our way across the entrance. It's the only way I've found of doing a decent approach. Perhaps with a joystick it's a bit easier, but this long, slow arc with my finger jammed on the Q key seems to work, and then just use the mouse to adjust your trajectory. We're not doing particularly well there. Let's line ourselves up. I think we've overdone it a little, but it's not bad for me. Just sink down a little. There we go, that should be fine. You can see the axis of the docking bay at the back there. That's a good guide to know if you've lined up. And we are going to 36. There we go, 36. Slow down. Get the gear down. And try not to embarrass myself again. And kill the engines and drop her down. There we go.
Successful. Engines disengaged.
So let's pop into the hangar and sort out our contracts. So, not contracts, or missions. So that's one for indium and one for titanium. So back on the bulletin board, let us hand over our one indium for 11k and our titanium for almost 14k. So we're doing great with our balance. So I think we did rather well there. This is Cmdr Kornelius Kerman thanking you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye.